Hey, what's going on there? This is Pat Kennedy. We are the Literate Nerds. I'm sorry. That's why there's terrible background noises, because I left my fan in the window on. Let me turn that off. Ugh, gods. It's like, of course, it's just 2 inches away from my reach. There we go. Good morning. Monday morning, it's 5:35 a.m. in beautiful Massapequa Park, New York. I have been awake for 24 hours without the benefit of stimulants. Lord knows I have had a history with them. No, I'm just suffering from insomnia. I don't know what's going on. I slept pretty well. Saturday into Sunday morning. And then I woke up early. I went to bed early Saturday night, like around 10 o'clock. I woke up at 5:30 a.m. It was a decent night's sleep. And I've been, and I'm tired, but I'm not overwhelmingly I'm not like bleary. I'm alert and everything. My eyes are a little crusty, but it's just these fucking sitting there for hours. And hilariously, in college. I did a play called The Raft and the Medusa, which was about the early AIDS crisis, and I played a character that was in a group therapy with people who were living with AIDS, or living with HIV. Play was written in the I believe in the late 80s. Performed it in the early 90s. Or maybe a little maybe mid 90s. And there was a scene where my character, who doesn't actually have HIV, who's lying about it just to get into this therapy group so he can write an article, is complaining about his insomnia, and the director didn't think I was being realistic. I wasn't really getting it. He brings up his insomnia because it's something that he actually has a problem with. He can't fucking sleep, and so he wants to talk about it in the group therapy because that's like an actual issue that he's having. So, but now, believe me, I know what it's like to be sleepless. It's very difficult. And the thing that sucks is I have benzodiazepines in my drawer that I could take, which would put me out. But I don't want to use them too often, and they give me a fucking wicked hangover, and they take a fucking long time to kick in. I'll take something and it won't kick in for 2 hours, and then I'm knocked out for 8. So I wanted to get a solid 8 hours of sleep, and I'm in bed for 10, 12. Not that I have anything to get up for. I'm, of course, unemployed. I have stuff that I'm doing and attempting to, make some money. So as a matter of fact, what I'm going to do? I'm going to put in an ad break here. All right, I don't know how the hell I fucking put in an ad break, but I'll figure it out later, I guess, when I'm uploading it. Because this is going out live, but then when I put the episode on the page, it gives you an opportunity to give ad breaks. But anyway, that was another. Today I went down to the pub that I used to work at. I'd left my iPad the other night, and so I took the train a couple of villages over from Massapequa Park to Belmore, and I go in, and the crowd there on Sunday days is, shall we say, certainly not left wing and certainly not particularly open minded. Very, very white and very, very male. But I was bullshitting actually with a friend of mine who's a guy, but is a black man. He's actually an immigrant. He immigrated from the United Kingdom. He is a citizen. And we were joking around. He knows my politics, and he's a pretty apolitical guy. But he's laughing along with me when I'm talking about these assholes at the bar. Because he's asked me what I was doing, and I said, well, I'm doing a little comic book editing. I'm doing a little bit of marketing, and I'm helping friends of mine out with various projects. I'm not getting paid a lot, but I'm getting a little bit, and I'm collecting unemployment, so that's keeping me afloat. And I was telling him about back rent I owed, and I had one of these fucking old men at the bar. These people get on unemployment and they never go back to work. What about tax relief? And I really wanted to go over to them, you're absolutely right about tax relief. There should be tax relief. There should be rent relief. Landlords should be getting paid rent that tenants couldn't come up with, like myself, and so on and so forth. But that's not the argument the guy's going for. The guy's trying to argue that, these deadbeats in this country. And let's face it, unemployment, taxes are nothing compared to military spending in this country. It's ridiculous. It's so... I know the conservatives, the right wing, they never argue with any kind of good faith. We know this. But this guy is and of course he's he mentioned something about the illegals, and it's like people who are illegal immigrants. People who are undocumented, okay, and don't have social security numbers. Can't get unemployment benefits. They can't get, all of these things that they claim. And it's just 100% not true. It's not true but that's exactly what we you get when you walk into a bar on the South Shore of Long Island on a fucking Sunday afternoon. Yeah. So, all right. So, let me tell the tale of what happened to me this morning when I was walking up to the supermarket. I'm walking up to IGA, and I go to cross the entrance of the parking lot from the sidewalk to another sidewalk, so I can walk around to the back of the building, because you have to go in the back entrance of the supermarket because the pandemic. So this guy pulls up behind me from the street, and I hear the car splashing behind me. And I turn around, and he's not far away from me at all. And I was startled. And it's raining. It's still early morning. It's dark out. He doesn't have his lights on. So, I kind of put my hands up in the air like, are you kidding me? And a woman standing there saw the whole incident. She said, people in this town are ridiculous. I said, I know. I live above a pub down the block, and I've lived in this neighborhood for 10 years, and I can't tell you the number of times I've nearly gotten run over crossing the street. So as the lady and I are kibitzing, I noticed that he stopped at the far end of the strip of stores. And I put my hands up again, once again being like, oh, what's going on, dude? Do you really want to do this? So he busts a left, an illegal left, whips around to the back parking lot, and I say to the woman, he's really coming around to, confront me. So I walk to the back, and I stand there, and I wait for him. I put my arms on my side, and I wait, and he comes flying into the parking lot. There's a man walking in, tall, white guy, gray hair, but a guy who looks like, he looks like he puts in, a couple rounds of golf every week and knows how to handle himself. So the guy blasts past this gentleman and goes halfway down the parking lot to bust a U-turn. And he pulls up and he rolls down his window. He's like, yeah? And I'm like, yeah, man, you nearly hit me and scared the shit out of me. You scared the shit out of me, And he goes, well, I didn't hit you. I said, that is not the point. It's not even remotely the point. I said, you're driving a dark-colored car with your lights off in the rain. I'm wearing a hooded jacket. I have no peripheral vision. I turn around and see you, and I startled you, and you startled me, and you act as if you are the aggrieved party. And that's just a problem. It drives me nuts that people do. First off, the guy is in a car. I'm a pedestrian. So in any time a pedestrian gives you a dirty look when you're in a car, you're probably at fault. Now, albeit there have been times when pedestrians have given me dirty looks, and I may have not been in the fault, but I can't imagine that I wasn't. So he's like, I'm like, you act as if you're the agreed party, and he's like, you know what? And I said, what? And what are you gonna say? That I'm a snowflake? Is that what you're gonna throw down? And he goes, no, you're a pussy. And I said, oh, that's where it goes, huh? Okay. I'm glad you put it out exactly the way that you did, because we know exactly where you're coming from, guy. And I said, just have a nice day. All right. But it was hilariously funny, and that once again, of course, is another byproduct of the South Shore of Long Island. People who drive like assholes and think that the world is their oyster. And have never dealt with any kind of real adversity. Now, I'm not saying that this guy wouldn't have beat me up. He very likely might. He might have been a fucking badass. But it was pretty obvious that when he pulled around and he saw actually how big I am, that I'm 5'11", 240 pounds, that maybe it wasn't worth getting out of the car and, catching hands on a Sunday morning. Is what it is. Anyways, I'm just I'm trying to tire myself out so I can get some rest. I got a bunch of shit I got to get done this week because I'm going out to California. I'm leaving actually 1 week from today. In 13 minutes, my plane will be taking off from JFK. So. I'm very much looking forward to this trip. I'm going to see some friends I haven't seen in a long time. I'm going to hang out with some people that I've been friends with on social media for ages and I've never met in person. Hopefully going to get some, make some business moves and build up some work. And it's tough. I'm a chef by trade. And, I've obviously loved theater and film. And I've been acting since I was 15 years old, and I've directed a couple of different productions, one-act plays, and I directed stuff off Broadway. I performed on Broadway, and I want to work in the creative. Culinary is in its way creative, but the money sucks. And unless you actually own the place, I've worked so many kitchens and been told I had carte blanche to do things how I wanted and to run things the way I wanted, and owners never do it. And particularly owners that cook a little bit and think that they're chefs, or cook a little bit and think that, it just always happens. Because then they start, they'll give you days off or they'll get somebody else to work your shift and they just don't fucking do it as well as you do. It's as simple as that. And in many ways, I did really genuinely love the place I worked at, but the political atmosphere, particularly during the day, is pretty loathsome, and at night it's pretty bad too. Because it's just Long Island, and not to say that the majority of the the perpetrators of such kind of shitty thought are always males,